Welcome to the morning show. It's a great pleasure, as always, to introduce Matt Brown. Morning to you, Matt. Well done,
morning.
Mrs. May.
What, on Friday?
Brilliant.
For now. But I mean, the problem is, straight away you've got David Davies, UK Brexit Minister, coming out saying, well, actually, the deal's it's not really a deal per se, and if we don't get the trade deals that the UK wants, and they may not pay the divorce bill. And she had a little bit of a hiatus for a few days, but I think it might again start to all unravel.
Out.
Yes.
FTSE obviously rallied Friday, rallied today.
Yeah, it's positive. I mean, despite the fact that the pound has gone, well, trading around the 134 level, seeing a bit of support now coming into the FTSE, coming into year end. Maybe some global fund managers are actually going, poor old Brits, but they need a bit of support. Let's look at investing in the FTSE. It's been great to see London Stock Exchange saying it's bumpy year for London listings.
Yep.
It's been the top exchange globally for listings, and that's doing well. So companies do still want to list in the UK, and therefore fund managers will need to invest in it. So hopefully we see a bit more of an upside to the FTSE 100, which seems to have lagged all the other indices this year in 2018.
Let's run through the slides quickly. Let's kick off with the headlines. Brexit still tops agenda, macro lights day, and Bitcoin trades on the Chicago Board Option Exchange. Who would have guessed that? I've never seen so much paper addressing Bitcoin, and is this a top, is this a theme, is this a fad, is this a tulip sensation?
I mean, it was incredible. I was watching the CBOE and the price of Bitcoin over the weekend. It was so volatile. I mean, there was more drama than a EastEnders Sunday omnibus. It was incredible to watch. It's obviously getting a lot of column inches, and rightfully so, because it's an asset class. It's a future asset class as well, potentially. Interestingly, though, Clem Chambers, head of ADVFN, CEO and founder, in an interview this morning, he cashed out of Bitcoin and Litecoin at the back end of last week. He's now looking at it as too volatile. Obviously, limits up, limits down, and you're going to see a lot of that with the exchanges. A lot of the futures traders will come in now and try and move the price around. So look, there's too much volatility for him. He's saying, actually, I'm going to take my money and run and look at investing now in the blockchain equity space. That is the next thing. That's the internet. That is the internet boom that we saw back in 97, 98. He's saying that's the next thing. So one to look out for 2018.
Okay, let's look at the leaderboard. BAE Systems, and a tasty contract.
Yeah, great contract with Qatar. This is Qatar buying 24 of the Eurofighter Typhoon jets, which BAE Systems has a big part in. They employ about 5,000 people. It will help secure some jobs, and a great contract. The flip side is, obviously the Middle East, ratcheting up, buying these planes. What do they expect? That's the downside. Obviously, if we see anything kick off in the Middle East over the coming months, or certainly into next year, that's going to have an impact on the oil price.
Understood. Let's talk small caps. Time out. That's probably a bit harsh with a market cap. Would you say 180 million or so? What's hit the?
Yeah, it's AIM-listed stock. It probably flies underneath the radar a little bit, but it's worth pointing out they used to have city guides, but they've moved into markets, food markets and food and drink markets, and they've opened their third one, which is actually in Chicago, not the only exchange or market that people are talking about today. They also own one in Lisbon that has seen revenues double over the last year. Interesting play for them. They take about 30% off the stall holders there for the food and drink sales that are sold. So time out, moving away from being a magazine and now actually moving into something a little bit different, so could be one to watch.
Understood. Let's talk currencies. The Great British Pound, the cross against US dollar 133.55. The Euro, Great British Pound cross 88.26. A little bit of stability in there.
A little bit of stability. I was thinking over the weekend, why don't we rename the Great British Pound the Britcoin? It would probably become a cyber currency, and it would probably get a bit bigger bid, and we could see it back above 150 potentially. But a lot of it obviously is about Brexit talks. We've got Theresa May addressing Parliament today. That may give us a little bit of direction for the pound. as we said at the top of the show, macro light today. So any kind of headlines coming out with regards to Brexit
might move the markets.
Will move the markets.
Okay, let's move on to broker upgrades, downgrades. Inmarsat going from a buy to a neutral, according to Mr. Goldman Sachs.
Yes, Mr. Goldman Sachs downgrading it effectively. It's quite a big move on the price target. Inmarsat, I mean, it's been an interesting one. Bid stories going back 10 years ago. Satellites and the like. It's just falling out of favour, and it's one of these ones that when it gets going, it really does get going both to the upside and downside. And this downgrade may push them lower.
Let's move on to the core number, 8.4%. What does that pertain to?
Well, this is in relation to the Qatar World Panel. They conducted a survey on the price of British goods, and certainly goods over the Christmas period, and now they were saying in 2016 to 17, Brussels sprouts, the price rose by 8.4%, smoked salmon 22% higher. Now, moving into obviously Christmas this year, these food and drink goods are going to be more expensive, and it's going to squeeze the pockets of the British consumer. Obviously, with the pound being weaker, about 20% weaker than we saw a year or two ago, that again, it's going to make for a potentially expensive Christmas, especially when other goods, the likes of smartphones, laptops, etc., have also seen an incredible increase, with wages increasing below 2%. Brussels sprouts may not be on the menu this Christmas.
Now there's a thought. Let's wrap up today with the economic calendar. In terms of the US at 3 o'clock, the JOLTS job report. Very, very dull if you're a trader.
Yeah, exactly, very dull. But the key things to look out for this week is the Fed meeting on Wednesday. We've got the ECB and the Bank of England on Thursday. They are going to draw focus, as well as the Brexit news that is coming out. They are going to be the main drivers. If people aren't looking at Bitcoin, they're going to be looking at those headlines.
Matt, thank you very much indeed.